Welcome all, one and all, back to the Champion Forge. Oh my gosh. Don't look at that, the link on the screen. There's definitely nothing there at all. Nowhere to go, nothing to see. Whoa. My name is Canapit, alongside two absolutely wonderful people, and we're going to be bringing you another episode of the Champion Forge. As we'll be going through, we're asking all of you fine folks to contribute your ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, expressions, emojis, and all that good stuff, as we try and come up with a champion concept of our own, or indeed influenced by you fine folks watching. So, Exodus, coming into today, would you like to tell folks a little bit about how they can interact with the stream?
Yes, so throughout the let's say the ID creation of the champion, we are going to do today, because we haven't completely flushed it out yet. There are some number generations we can use to influence the character. One of them being today is range. The other two I still need to figure out a little bit, but I think range might be interesting. The second one I would rate as annoyance, as in how much of a nuisance a certain character would be. This character would be for to play against. And as always, as our lovely artist, I want to say in the background, but at this point it's actually in the foreground, is Roger.
What's up, y'all? Yeah, we've been having ideas, we've been talking, so we're as we said on Twitter, let's see what kind of bonanzas we're gonna work out today. It's gonna be interesting.
So we've kind of come in with a couple of ideas floating around. So we've got, on one hand, guns. On the other hand, I think we also had the idea of maybe incorporating superheroes in some way. But I think guns was the first thing here. So why are we thinking about firearms today? What is it about them that's so appealing?
I think Roger came with the initial idea, but my sense would be, even though they're extraordinarily dangerous, they're cool.
Yeah, for anyone who knows the movies Expendables, right? Like, I don't know why, it has barely any plot, but the amount of guns in there, not just muscle guns, but also actual guns, it's phenomenal.
Just muscle gun.
All right, okay. Well, it didn't take long for the host and Roger brigade to be necessary. So, from a gameplay perspective, perhaps, I mean, there are some amount of champions who use guns in League of Legends, but I don't think we've ever specifically designed one, have we?
No.
I can't remember. It's a little bit of a blur.
No, we have chains. We have a slashing violin. We have
fair.
Magic. A lot of magic.
We had just pure and straight up.
Cross was a sniper, wasn't they? Were they? Going back away.
I think he was, but I think he also didn't he use a violin? Wasn't that his type of?
Yeah, the violin guy with the blue hair.
Well, if memory serves, I think we did. So one thing so as far as firearms gone, yes, I think we've only done one champion. I think they were supposed to be kind of exploring the same sort of design space as Jhin was, in that Jhin is has elements of being a sniper, but wasn't necessarily. I think we didn't think that they were kind of fully embracing the sniper lifestyle. What other kind of guns, what other kind of combat could we be exploring? Because we've got Graves. Let's actually start writing out the stuff. So we've got Graves with a shotgun, and there you work at short range. We've got Lucian with pistols, which is short range, rapid fire. What other kind of guns are there? I guess put Jhin as well.
I think a great character, and something that actually doesn't really exist in League yet, is Nova from Heroes of the Storm. So Nova is this kind. Yeah, Nova is this kind of assassin, long range sniper. She's in no way, sense or form, is she something you could describe as a marksman or an ADC. But she's somebody who is like, she goes in waiting. She really emanates the sniper feel, where it's you're not in there, Bob. You're not in there where you go, you shoot everybody up, you continuously do damage. But all of a sudden, when Nova sees you, and you don't see Nova, you're in trouble. And I think that's something we can do. And I also like the idea of where Roger said we just make somebody who is, who's just gun crazy and just has way too many of them. I think that's also an avenue we can explore.
Yeah, and also with the style, like what I thought a bit, going like a little bit like techwear, work horror theme, right? Like just having like super bad. It's just like full on like Expendables. I'm like my brain is just like going full on Expendables, just like all like the military stuff, but like all black, and all like super just like so badass. If you see them in like in real life somewhere, right, in the supermarket, and they're like they're coming up to you because they want to grab something from the shelf, you move away. You're just like, okay, you go first, like no worries.
Would you want to make a sniper, or would you rather make somebody who is way more up in your face? Because when you say like black and the Skystone, almost that is a little bit more of a covert-esque champion, maybe more assassin type. That springs to mind.
I mean, it can be both.
Fair enough.
Like don't talk to me, you don't know what I can do, and then like when you don't expect it to be like that, boop, from like 200-meter distance, be like, doop. Gotcha.
This kind of puts me in mind of, like, I don't know if this is going off tangent at all, but I kind of start thinking about Metal Gear Solid kind of stuff when you're thinking with what Roger was saying.
Yeah, true.
With a champion who's more like a kind of a sneaky style champion, which weirdly enough is, I don't know why Akshan has this ability to be able to sneak along terrain, but if Akshan didn't have that ability, that would be such a good ability for like a traditional kind of Metal Gear Solid spy kind of champion to be able to sneak across terrain. I generally don't know why Akshan has it though.
I 100% agree. It's so weird. It's so weird that is in Akshan's kit, because it doesn't feel.
He's kind of acrobatic, is his thing.
Yeah.
I think I have the feeling they tried to do Aladdin, but like as a league champion. Because like Aladdin has a lot of stealth stuff.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to leave for 1 second. I'm getting
sure.
somebody at my.
Sorry, Roger, you were saying?
Like Aladdin from like the Disney movie Aladdin, right? Since he's like a street kid and he's like all like flying around and stuff, but it also has like the stealth. I feel like Aladdin was maybe like a little side inspiration for Akshan, because
yeah, I can maybe see it. Like, yeah, the whole acrobatic stuff. Hey, Demi. Or Demi. Demi is too short. How you doing? Demi, if you have got any thoughts on different kinds of guns in League of Legends and kind of what they've done with them so far, we're trying to list out, because I think as it turns out, there's actually quite a lot of guns in League of Legends. So I'm trying to think of places.
Misfortune.
Oh yeah, Misfortune. The Misfortunes, I'm trying to think of stuff that makes them. So her thing is Bullet Storm, I think. Like that's kind of her way. Yeah, we've got Akshan already. Oh, sorry, I realized that we've actually. I'll move this so you can see the art and this at the same time for now. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see. Yeah, so Akshan, so his thing is pistols and acrobatics. So I think maybe that could be the way which we're going. Oh, yes, so Caitlyn is sniper. I feel like Caitlyn is kind of like the proto-Jhin in that they wanted to do a sniper, but she wasn't really very snipery.
Yeah.
Oh, Quinn is a crossbow, isn't it? Is she using guns? I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it could be guns, but her...
Vayne uses type of guns, but more like with like nets, because she's like the hunter.
I think her thing is definitely crossbows, but I mean, it's not night and day, I suppose. Let's put them in as two things, because the way which they're implemented, they could as well be guns.
Yeah. Okay, Lucian.
Yep. That's thing is pistol, short range, and rapid fire. Senna. Oh yeah, Senna's a good choice as well. So Senna is interesting because her approach to guns is much more exploring, like the more kind of interesting gun space, I think, away from regular guns, because it's more like she's got a cannon where it's got a very distinct slow fire rate. Yes, we are recently going through the AD carry list. It does seem to be very, very AD carry of a thing. I mean, we're kind of coming to this with the hope and expectation we can maybe come up with something different just for the sake of being different. But anyone else? So Senna, I think it's one which because I really need to check into Zeri's thing properly because I've been so swamped with other stuff I haven't even had a chance to look at her. But
I just know that, like, you know, that League was really lazy and did, like, basically the same champion for Valorant and League.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the impression that was maybe supposed to be intentional. But
Definitely. If that is not intentional, they're seriously blind.
Yeah, well, they've got the same voice actor to do both characters.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
know why they didn't just make them both the same character. Maybe they didn't want to sort of have that be quite as direct. So Zeri's thing is that she gets a kind of a charge system. Oh gosh, I should have read up on her because she's got a really interesting one. So she's got kind of like an ammo mechanic, which is basically the more charge she has, so the longer the time it is between her attacking, the more effect her auto attack does. Which is that's a cool idea. It's like a reverse ammo mechanic where you're never stopped from firing, but you're not also you're kind of encouraged for sort of more carefully choosing your auto attacks.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I think Zeri absolutely should be on the list there. So Zeri is kind of charging effect as ammo. That's another thing. Oh, of course, Aphelios, yes. They got multiple guns, so we could really not go without them. So that's
Does
changing
Gangplank
weapons.
use guns? No.
Sort of? He doesn't, like... He sort of thematically uses guns.
Yeah.
He doesn't really mechanically use guns as much as he's got like a point and click.
His
like
oranges.
shot. Samira? Yeah.
True, Samira.
She at least she's got like sort of pistol and sword. Tristana, oh my gosh, there's so many of these.
True, Tristana, Jinx. Oh my god, Jinx, obviously.
Wow. Okay, we've definitely gone into an era where we've actually found something that's massively oversubscribed in League of Legends, which is apparently champions who use guns. So that's a chain gun rocket launcher.
But I mean, you know, like guns and swords are just like the basic type of weapon. And okay, guns, swords, and magic. You know, everything else then becomes that's special stuff. You know, with like Evelyn with her side thingies or something, or like Sivir with her Beyblade.
I mean, you can make it into a pizza. You could probably make it into a gun. All right.
Or like Vi then with the fists. You know, that's like something like special.
I mean, that does have. I think that has at least had an ammo system at one point. I can't remember if it does anymore. Demi, yeah, Corki's chain gun. I would definitely consider to be. So, sorry, the reason why we're going through and getting this list of different guns is just to try and get some inspiration about what kind of approaches there are available to us if we're going to make a kind of gun mechanic. So, we've got kind of... Alright, let's start breaking these down into, like, overall effects. I'm just going to make the art a little bit smaller so I get a bit more room on the screen. Move the actual abilities off, because this is one where this is almost like a research session, at least in the immediate part, as we're trying to figure out how to... It's like if we sat down, if we were in Riot HQ, then, you know, we're like, oh, let's talk about guns in this game.
Yeah.
Let's spend like an hour just writing out every kind of gun.
I mean, what did the tweet say? We're talking guns, right?
Yeah, that's true. Jace says an electric gun. Yeah, I think that counts. Alright, so what have these guns got in common? And we're really looking for what they don't have in common. So we've got an ammo system or a charging system, which is quite popular because it's a good way to be able to sort of to moderate a champion. Have we finally reached the end of the list? Oh, thank God. We were going to be there for a while writing out tons of guns. So let's see, what else have we got? So ammo system, I think it's not universal, but it's certainly become more popular. I guess guns generally are ranged. Like, I don't think we have... I guess apart from Gangplank, sort of. I wouldn't really call it a gun. What else makes it gun-related apart from... I guess ramping effect is fairly common. So, I mean, you're thinking primarily of Jinx's chain gun. But that sort of feels very gun-y.
Gun-y.
Yeah. Okay, oh, we've received information that Exodus is going to have to dip out for an extended period. So
Oh.
it'll just be you and me, Roger.
Well.
For this episode, so apologies. Serious, yes, has something which you cannot get out of. So, sends
He's
his
gonna
apologies.
miss all the abs I'm drawing on her.
I know, but well, to be fair, abs are forever when it's drawn on a piece of art. Sadly, not so much in real life. No, I never had any abs, so I never got to miss them. Right, other stuff to do with guns. Let's see. So, I don't know. That's weird that that's only like 3 things. Less cooks, better broth, or something like that. I guess so. We'll see how it goes. It's always good to have like a few different perspectives, because I know, Roger, you're kind of concentrating on making the tastiest abs you can make possible. So asking you
Yeah,
to also design a champion at the
obviously.
same time is quite a lot. So I'm going to rely on you, dear chat, Demi, Niall. I need a lot of help from you to be able to get through this, because it's, you know, we are bereft of one of our 3 brains which make up our brain pack. If only Happy Light Sense, of course, was in the chat as well, we would have an additional brain to call upon, but we'll have to figure it out. So, okay, so guns. We want to make guns. So, if it's a gun, what is it? It's loud.
Oh yeah.
It's
Unless
flashy.
you have a silencer on it.
That's true. Loud or quiet. So flashy generally. We don't have that many guns which are particularly flashy necessarily, but I can see them being a thing.
Could there be like an ability where like when you shoot someone, they're like blinded, you know, just like a flash gun, something?
Maybe. All right, so flashy. Yeah. All right, let's put blinding in as an idea. I don't see why not. There we go. All right, Demi has played for 6 years. You're addicted. Great. You're exactly the kind of person we need here to come up with all of the ideas. So let's see. So if we're gonna, so let's keep thinking about it. So we've got our champion has guns, so they're probably gonna be loud unless we're talking about pistols, which are kind of an edge case. So they can be quiet, but most of the time it's very loud. So we probably want them to be visually very big and noisy, unless of course we go down the more pistol route. So I think I'm going to have that caveat for like in everything I say, so just assume that's what I'm saying from here on out. So we probably want, I think if we're going to fit in with all the cool kids, we probably need to have some kind of ammo system, because that's, you know, the current design hotness and has been for quite a while when it comes to champions where you can logically put a ammo system in. Nearly always it has an ammo system of sorts. So we're most likely ranged, and we also probably don't enjoy, I mean, this is maybe kind of, but we don't enjoy having people in close quarters. While that seems kind of perhaps obvious, I think it's worth stating out in front. So, okay. So, can we have a look at the art so far? Because I think we need to have a very arts-led session here. Okay.
I'm trying to work on like, you know, techwear stuff.
This is
Trying to,
looking a
like,
little familiar to me, Roger. I was
do you
starting
mean?
to think that this might be a character who you might have cosplayed in the recent past.
No.
I was just saying, if someone wants to look on Roger's Instagram, you might find a character who looks a little bit like this.
Just because the hair is side parted, come on.
I mean, it's the 2 pistols as well that kind of like clue me in there.
I mean, the character cosplay technically doesn't wear guns, you know, but I made her, you know, like I was thinking, like, you know, what if she, when she graduated high school, you know, she's joined like the Secret Service, like definitely she's gonna have guns there, you know, like so.
That's true. MF stole KDA Kaiser's wardrobe.
Oh, that's dope. I like that.
I mean, that's not too shabby, actually. So it looks like we're ending up with a secret agent here from the kind of character you're drawing, and I'm very happy to build a character who works with this art specifically. So let's divert a little bit from where we were then and start also thinking about, so if we've got a secret agent with guns. So that's our concept. That's our high concept here. Secret agent with guns. So I feel like the Akshan stealth system of stealthing on the terrain is such a good secret agent ability that I kind of feel like maybe we just steal that ability but just add something else onto it to make it semi-original. So let's have sneaking around terrain.
Nice.
So if I remember Akshan's sort of conditions on their sneak, it's that you can go, you can, as long as you're standing next to terrain, you're invisible. Actually, I'm going to pull up the thing to make sure I'm not missing anything here. So Akshan lol. So let's see, it's going rogue. Yeah, so enters camouflage. So camouflage is... so you're invisible unless you're in line of sight of a champion. So it's kind of like it's a map invisibility. It's not a combat invisibility.
Yeah.
So while they're near terrain or inside brush or fog, and for 2 seconds afterwards. So, okay. So I think we can basically just steal that ability wholesale. But we'll add something else onto it to make it not a complete rip-off. But I think that's
Nice.
too good an ability to not take. So let's put it in as the W for the time being. So we'll take these guns out of the equation for the time being and start building a kit over here. So focus on chat. Could you let me know? And of course, Roger, this is all how goes without saying it up to you as well. That what kinds of things would make sense for a secret agent style champion to do. Now bear in mind this is the secret agent that you're seeing being drawn live on screen right now. So things that work with this kind of character type. This certainly feels like a pretty sneaky character who would maybe have like, well, tell me if it's in the right area for you, Roger. Like I'm seeing like maybe a sneaky character who would like have, maybe it's that alt something big and explosive, that they'd have like a moment of big revelation and kind of
Oh yeah,
shooting everybody.
yeah, like all the way sneaky, but then like with the ultimate, which is like, yeah, I'm still here, like out of the nowhere, be like, oh boom.
Oh my gosh, Annihilation, X-ray glasses. How has that not been a thing in League already? That's such a good idea. Okay, yes, we definitely 1000% need X-ray glasses. We're gonna find a place for it in the kit.
Yes.
The ability to see through terrain. How is that not a thing already? That's such a good idea. Alright. So, X-ray glasses. I mean, if we're just gonna... X-ray glasses got replaced through wards? I suppose so. So, I think that...
Still, like, also, like, Ashe has, like, the ability that, it's like a portal of wards. So she has, like, more wards than someone else. So why not, give someone, like, the glasses to, like, use to, like, see somewhere?
Yeah, I think as long as we can make... It's a good thing, Demi, to point out particularly that is already kind of a thing already. So we do need to make sure it's meaningfully different than just having, like, a free ward or something.
Well, yeah. Like, for example, you can use it and then you can see, like, through, like, one of the walls, right? You, like, see, is the jungle, like, hiding there or something, Like, not have, like, a thing where you can, like, place it somewhere on the map and you can see there.
I don't know quite what he's trying to get at with the, that's something different. But, I will trust.
Oh, with the Ashe with the bird. Like, that's something different.
Well, So this is, I think, a good sort of design exercise here of being like, how can we provide a new form of vision? Like, so let's run through our potential obvious options here. Well, I would say obvious options. Just things that come to mind immediately. So let's say, let's do, a few iterations. So we need have you got a working name for your spy lady right now?
No.
Not
yet.
We're gonna call them Kim.
Oh, really? Now who's the original one here?
So, yes. So, sorry, Nail, I think it's Niall. I do apologize, I'm almost certainly saying it wrong. Hey, Mana Playman, no, how's it going? We are currently discussing the idea of giving a champion an ability that lets them see through terrain, which I think is a really cool idea. And I don't think it's been done yet, and if it has, neither of us can think of it. And no one's mentioned that they've come up with it yet. So we're trying to think of ways to do that. So Niall was saying like a true sight in the character facing direction. So that's interesting. I also had a very similar thought. There aren't a lot of abilities in League of Legends which revolve around the character direction you're facing. We did do it last week, but because there's no turning speed in League, it's like the idea of it mattering which way your champion is facing isn't used a ton, just because you can flick around so quickly. But I think it could work. So we've got vision in a line. So I do like the vision in a line because it sort of evokes Metal Gear Solid's like vision cone kind of things, where you can see a very limited area through terrain, which I think would be more interesting than being able to just like completely remove a piece of terrain as far as your vision goes. But another way we could do it, which would be the most straightforward way, is just that terrain around her doesn't block vision. Like it would be like having the Ash Hawk shot just going off all the time. Just to kind of give an example of what that would be like in practice. So it'd be like an Ash Hawk shot on yourself, which it's very easy to make and easy to understand, but it's also not particularly interesting. Terrain. Oh my gosh, I can't type. So, other ways of doing X-ray vision. I mean, if we're gonna go in the completely opposite direction than people were wanting us to do, we could just deploy wards on the other side, or maybe we could take that idea and make it work. Maybe if you had a deployable that was like a ward, but if we combine the vision and the line idea, you put down this device and then you get that true sight line between you and that ward. Maybe in like a confined area. That could maybe work. So that's a deployable device. Yes, like a satellite Overwatch type drone. Yeah, that kind of thing. So line of true sight between, well, maybe not true sight, but line of sight between ignoring terrain. So that in itself is maybe it feels like that could be a way to go, because that means you don't have to worry about facing, which is, I think on paper facing would make the most sense, but in practical terms you'd be turning around constantly while you're fighting. And I think, you know, even to go back to our papa Feral Pony, I think there's a reason why there aren't that many abilities which are like the Flame Spitter, where you kind of have to turn around constantly, because it's not very easy to sort of understand, because your flames start moving around from side to side. You can't really tell where you're hitting and where you're not hitting.
Yeah.
So, okay, so those are 3 ways of approaching X-ray glasses so far. If anyone's got any other ideas of ways of doing it, even if they're potentially bad ideas, because even bad ideas are good, because they'll let us explore.
Yeah, because like they help finding more ideas.
Yeah. And we can always find like a variation on a bad idea, and it turns out to be something really good. So, I suppose to expand on the deployable device and to use a bit of what Anaya was saying, that maybe this the deployable device could actually be something that could be redeployed or moved. Because I think that could be kind of fun. I really like the idea of sort of, you know, this character in a cinematic running down like an alley with like the drone like going alongside her.
Yes.
Above the buildings. I think that would be a cool little mechanic of having like a little buddy that you fly around who kind of provides intel for you. And maybe people can hit it and it will like respawn after a certain amount of time or something, you can get it back. So you're kind of encouraged to not just throw it at people, but you can use it in a more risky way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we're basically just trying to come up with a way to make another mascot. Alright, so there we go. Drone Buddy. I think that feels good. Drone Buddy! Okay. I'm into it. This also, I haven't watched a lot of Kim Possible, or really more than I think about 20 seconds of it.
Actually.
But I feel like from the intro video I think I saw on YouTube, I don't know why I was looking at it, but that feels like something that fits in that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah,
of being
it
like
does.
gadgety, kind of things, and also fairly 90s.
A little bit, yeah, true.
Alright. Cool, Drone Buddy. So I think that's where we're going to go, unless anyone's got any other ideas. I think that seems pretty solid. So it's not actually X-ray glasses, it's Drone Buddy, but it's hitting the same kind of space. It's an intelligence device.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just like a deployable hawk shot that follows you around. Because yeah, you don't actually need the terrain penetration on it if you've got someone on the other side of that wall. Which is a bit of a shame to not use that ability, but I think it's okay. So it's a little like, yeah. So I guess it's a bit like having a Tibbers, except that Tibbers is much smaller and can cross terrain.
Oh yeah, it's explosive.
Yes, maybe we could do something like that. I think the drone should definitely have some sort of ability to itself. And crosses terrain. So it can be destroyed. But I think first cast deploys. And then second cast maybe it causes it to explode or something. Explodes EMP or something. And then I think it's a long recharge on drone destruction. So I think maybe you can keep the Drone Buddy out. Maybe not. I think maybe indefinitely, I'm not sure. What do you think? Is it indefinitely better, or is it better to have it out for a short or long period? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
No, that's fair enough.
Like, I mean, because like, I don't know. Could...
It's absolutely fine to not an answer. I don't know what the answer is either. That's why I'm asking. All right, well, that's something to put out there. So we'll put that as a question. So, question: how long should the drone last? So Niall is saying pets are cool, like an ice climbers type mechanic with the drone. Do you know ice climbers? I think I've seen them briefly. But that,
I don't know ice climbers, no.
Okay, maybe grapple to the drone across terrain. I like the idea of a grappling hook, definitely, for this character. It's again, we're in the 90s where like you've got like grappling hooks, drones,
yeah,
like this kind of stuff. 1000% this character needs to have a grappling hook, because that's all anybody had. Batman had it. I'm pretty sure Kim Possible had it as well.
Yeah, that's actually Kim Possible's only weapon she actually like has.
Yeah, I mean, and probably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had it as well. Like, it's all that era. So I think yes, 1000% a grappling hook. And I like the grappling hook that you can use to jump to the drone. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Ooh.
Because then you've got a lot of sort of positioning concerns where you can use it more aggressively, but you're also, you're taking a bigger risk that you'll lose out on that strategic option. I think it's a great idea now. So can grapple to the Drone Buddy. Okay. This is kind of getting in the right place. I feel like we're evoking what we're trying to evoke here quite well.
A little bit.
This is maybe one of those things
where
it's like
very useless, because I'm like trying to focus on two things right now. I'm just like,
no. Don't worry. I'm more just sort of like thinking out loud. I'm not expecting you to do the two things. I cannot do the art at all, and I can't really even do the champion design either. So I'm casting around here, but I think this is good so far. So okay, so we've got a Drone Buddy, we've got a grappling hook. I love that it interacts with a Drone Buddy. I think that's really good. Like, so right now, if we did keep the W as a camouflage, then I don't know if we actually need that necessarily, because the kind of way which Kim gets around in a kind of stealthy way is by grappling into places. So I don't know if she necessarily needs to be able to go invisible. And we do also need the space on the kit, as well as not necessarily wanting to have an ability that's literally just a rip-off of somebody else's. So I think maybe we can ditch the W for now, and perhaps come back to that later on. I'll keep that off screen just so we can drop it back in if need to, because I feel like we might put it back in as like a subset of the ability.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so where were we? Just gonna recalibrate the screen. Alright, so we've got a drone, we've got a grappling hook. So far we don't have any damaging abilities at all. Which is, well, I mean, the drone buddy to an extent, but I feel that's like kind of a secondary thing for the drone buddy. So we probably need something.
But the things with the drone question, like, does she, like, does it move passively, or do we like actively say where it's gonna move? Is it moving like freely, manual, or like automatically? Like, do you just say like, yeah, move to this place, and then it just goes there like straight line, or?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It makes a completely
maybe she'll
different
be
ability.
like untargetable for like 2 seconds or something, or 1 second, you know, and you can say like actively like make the drone like fly in a specific direction or something, or you know, you just say like, hey, go to this bush, you know, and then like we'll see who you're gonna meet up on the way to this bush, and you're gonna shoot at them at some level.
Well, so we end up with a very different gameplay experience depending on how we answer that question of how the drone is controlled.
Yeah.
You know, if it's just something like effectively like a pet that you can just direct around the place, it sort of gives you one very distinct kind of thing where you're very much in control, and you don't, you know, your main concern is, did I send it somewhere that was too risky and it got destroyed? And that would go well with a long recharge because you're actively making a decision of where they go at all times.
Yeah.
If it's a non-controllable drone, like, and I'm trying to draw to mind who this would be like, but one which kind of circles you slowly, then I can see that being a shorter thing because you don't have control over it. And also, presumably, you would have to make it either invisible when you're in bushes, or it would give away where your position was, like, all the time.
True. Or it just really like orbits around you, but like at such a distance where it's like basically off your own screen, but it's there, right? So it's like,
oh, that's
not
an
really giving
idea.
away your position, but you know, like, for example, you're like, you know, you're at your tower, like from red side, from upper side, you're at the first tower, right? Like where like bot lane meets up, for example, and your drone is like flying at such a orbit around you that it's like hanging around blue buff or something, right?
That's an interesting notion.
Because then you still can't say where is the drone, you know?
Okay, I would have
Well,
never thought it.
Sorry, you can't say where the drone is, but like when you see the drone, you're like, so the champion is somewhere here, but you still don't know which direction do I move now.
Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of things. Callista W. I'm assuming that's to do with the Callista W. I'm trying to remember which one Callista's W is. So the W is Sentinel. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's where you. Yes, the Callista Sentinel I think is a pretty good place to start in that kind of thing. So Callista Sentinel. So that actually does make some amount of sense. The Callista Sentinel model for having it a kind of fire and forget kind of thing. So that in that case, the drone buddy, if we were going for more of a Callista Sentinel approach, it would make more sense for it to be like an ammo system, where you would probably send them to. I mean, you could even just directly rip off the Sentinels and just have them work pretty much the same way, where they go and patrol an area, because that's the only champion in the game I can think of that really has that as a mechanic. And it felt like it was in like a deployable pet that's not really, that's kind of used in a non-combat fashion.
Yeah.
Like, they're almost wards, but they're like wards that roam around, which is a different kind of intelligence gathering. So Callista's wards are more like early warning systems, whereas Kim's one wouldn't be. It would be more for information gathering. So I think it having a set path, I don't think makes as much sense, because you're going to presumably be trying to get into enemy territory. And I realize as we say all this, we haven't even thought a little bit about what kind of champion this actually even is.
True. What did we say at the beginning? Mid lane sniper? We are very far away from that now.
We are. I mean,
We
there's
always
so
run
many-
into ADC support territory, or you know, it's like either bot lane or top lane. Like, what else have we done? Nothing. Do
It's
we have a
difficult, though,
jungler?
'cause-
No, okay, we have Sheepy, but you know.
Sheepy is the best jungler, it has to be said.
Yes.
The problem is, Kim would make a good mid lane roaming AD carry, but that's almost exactly
Kinda.
the same as Akshan. Then immediately,
Well, yeah. Do you
Like-
know? Do you know the legend of River Shen?
I've heard the tales.
Okay, I've heard because of a friend of mine. He actually played River Shen like
Yeah?
1-2 games something, and it does work. So I would think like, you know, Kim could also be like you know, what lane do you play? River, you know, something like that.
I'm not against the idea, so I mean, do we want to go that weird? Yes, let's go that weird.
If you
Kim
ask like
doesn't
that,
gain
I mean...
gold from CSing or jungle cabs. She doesn't gain
Yes.
gold from it. All right, we're just gonna get weird here, just for the sake of it. Let's do it. So Kim doesn't have a lane. She's not a jungler. She's not a laner. She just
She is
doesn't have
special.
one. So Kim doesn't get gold from CSing or jungling. I love it. I love it. Bot lane is best lane. No, you are right. But we've decided we're off the map here. We're off the reservation. We don't know what's going on anymore. All right, so she doesn't get gold. So presumably, I don't know, where does she get gold from? Killing people.
Killing people, killing wards.
Oh, yes, I like that. We're going to come up with a whole alternate League of Legends economy just for this champion. All right, so gains extra gold from kills, ward, takedowns. I guess, yeah, so it's
Objectives, like also like turrets, I think.
yeah,
You know, minions,
takedowns, ward,
obviously.
takedowns, objectives.
She's that kind of champion, you know, that goes on to mid lane and just like steals the whole farm.
Well, she doesn't get any gold from it. So you have to
Oh.
remember. So I don't know if she would be. I think she probably gets. So this is another question, actually. We've
Maybe
really
she can
like-
be sponsored by the other champions. Like she's like, hey, you know, I need that. You have some spare cash. You know, because like, you know, like when you're an agent, you don't carry money with you, do you?
That's true. Oh,
She's like, hey, I need a little bit of cash.
yeah, no, that works.
Because
So
it's like the same, like, you know, the same mechanic like in like CS:GO or Valorant. You know, like when you don't have enough money, but someone else has. You know, you gotta like, hey, can you buy me this? You know, and then they can actually like buy it for you.
No,
That's like a
what-
whole
so
new
in that
mechanic.
space, what about if allied? So we're kind of thinking of the sort of Zillion experience sharing mechanic. Maybe allied champions have like a bar of resources that they get from farming, and that when you visit their lane, they can give you those resources, which doesn't cost
Yes.
them anything.
She's like, I'm here to collect the money.
yeah,
You know, the
Okay.
money you owe me for protecting you. For giving you I give you
protection money.
information, right? And you give me money.
All right, so that's her mechanic, protection money.
Yes!
So can Siphon.
Hello.
Cillian.
Oh my god, he's back!
You
Oh,
arrived
sorry, I
just in
had a-
time to see us go completely mad.
I had a little bit of an emergency there. My aunt fell and I had to go to the hospital, but she should be fine. But
Oh shit.
yeah, the only one there was my cousin, and he was a little bit worried and a little bit too young to do anything about it. So
Oh.
yeah. Anyway, what did you make of it? I'm actually really curious now.
All right.
Guess
well,
her name. Guess her name.
I mean,
Is it
you
Kim?
can,
Is it?
It's
I
Kim.
see
you can see
Kim.
the
Is it
sheet,
Kim
so it's not going to
Possible?
be a guess anymore.
It's
No,
not
I
Kim
see-
Possible, it's cooler.
It's cool. Kim Impossible. I don't know.
Bruh.
Tell me. Tell me.
It's just Kim
Just Kim. Okay.
so far.
Demi and Niall have been doing a great job of coming up with some really cool stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of go from the most sensible to the least sensible because we've just come into the least sensible.
Okay.
So Kim is a kind of a stealthy kind of, secret agent character. So we initially came across the idea of X-ray vision not actually being something that's in League at all.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of ended up diverting off of that a little bit, even though I think it's actually still a worthwhile idea to explore.
Yeah.
To give her a drone buddy who will float nearby her. We've still got a lot
You know
of
what
questions
that
to answer
reminds
about
me
it.
of?
Mhm.
Of Portal. Where she
Mm.
Portal 2, where she has like the little buddy. It does remind me of that.
It's very much a thing. I don't remember. I haven't played much of Portal 2, but that probably makes. I have to imagine that makes sense. I've seen it in lots of games.
Mm.
Also, is there any points we could get a? If you've got time, be able to draw even like a really basic version of Drone Buddy would be delightful. So yes, we've got a Drone Buddy. We've not figured out how this is controlled or how far away it is from Kim as of yet, so it's still in the air.
Okay.
But it's kind of like an information gathering device. So think like a hawk shot, but as a deployable kind of is the basic idea. We've also got a grappling hook because we're all from the 90s. In the
I'm
design
not.
aesthetic here, at least, if not in reality. And grappling hooks, which can also, thanks to Niall, I think it was, had the idea that you can grapple onto your drone to be able to leap to it. I think otherwise, because the classic grappling hook thing is you throw it and it pulls back. So I think what it does is you throw it, if it goes through terrain, it hits onto the other side and then pulls you to that terrain. But if it hooks onto the drone at the end of its thing, it will then pull you across that terrain.
Okay,
That's
okay,
cool.
okay.
But I just love... Who doesn't love freaking grappling hooks? They're just amazing.
Fair.
So, prepare yourself. An offhand comment from Roger about Rivershen has led us down a dangerous path indeed. We have now decided that Kim is a river champion because Kim doesn't get gold from CSing or farming at all.
Okay.
The way that she does get gold is by she gets extra goals from takedowns and from wards sort of vision related stuff and objectives, but her mechanic is protection money. She goes to allies' lanes and they have like a sort of charging effect, allies like Zillion, and so based on how much they've been CSing recently, it will charge more quickly. But when she's near them, she can siphon off money and gain like a chunk of money from her allies, basically encouraging her to go and gank lanes as much as possible.
Okay. Very
what we've got to so
interesting
far.
idea. Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. I'm thinking the one issue I have with it right now is I think there are ways of making the actual protection money work and balancing that out. The one thing that springs to mind is where you might have a problem. How do you deal with an enemy jungler who will just farm your camps? Because what happens to your jungle camps?
That's
I
true.
think there is some. If you can solve that problem, I think that passive can work.
And that's where you come in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
that's a great problem to identify.
And now you can also solve it.
Well,
Boy.
so I guess Kim would get that's the thing. Like, this is such a weird idea already that I think we're kind of seeing Kim as not necessarily a jungler, and that's the whole thing is here. She's not a jungler specifically. She's basically like an option on the team, because currently League of Legends doesn't have really the option to be like, what if you just don't run a support and you run something else?
Yeah.
Like, effectively, like in this case, like it's basically a second jungler. But
I
that
kind
is
of
part of the game so far.
I kind of liked it because there was a I am trying to remember the season. You had Funnel as well. So it kind of happened with Funnel, where the support actually followed the jungler, or at least the champion that was funneled that champion around, because it gave some more protection, and he also could give relic stacks to it, further increasing the gold. But there was also a season. I'm trying to remember which one. I'm trying to remember what was the exact reason for it. It's a long time ago. Basically, you had the support following the jungler around for, I think, the first 2 rotations in jungle. And I kind of, it was a little bit fringy, but I kind of like that idea. So Kim is definitely a support then, right? She's not a jungler, I would say.
I think she's kind of in the support space. We're trying to desperately carve out River Champion as its own thing, but I think realistically speaking, she's functionally working as somewhere between a jungler and a support.
I'm trying to think, because you could pick her as a jungler, but the one thing, once again, is that you run into the problem. Well, then you have jungle camps, whom are just up for grabs. So a way to kind of solve that issue. Now, let's first envision her as a support, and let's see where that goes. I kind of like the idea of protection money is great, by the way. I
Thank
think that's
you.
absolutely fantastic. Because I mean, if Pike can do it, why can't Kim? So she
Yep.
gets
Exactly.
extra. Yeah. So I'd say she can get like, let's just put some random numbers here, which might be incredibly over or underpowered. Let's say when she takes on a ward, she gets like 100 gold instead of like 10 or 30. Because if you take down 3 wards, you basically got a kill, and I think that's something you can do.
I do like the idea of there being more motivation to try and encourage pro teamwork behavior, specifically on the Champions kit.
I like that idea as well. Where it's more of a, hey, I'm trying to help you out. Now, already means that she'll be a nuisance to deal with, which is kind of good, which is kind of what we were going for.
Yep.
Obviously.
Okay,
nuisances.
so, and then the drone buddy the drone buddy kind of gives her a lot of mobility, making her very fast, at least, or making her
Well, what was
go
your
over
thoughts on
walls.
the drone buddy? Because this is something we've still really got up in the air as to how it's going to be, because we've got either it works like a Tibbetts where you can completely control it, and the big thing is trying to make sure you don't sort of overreach in terms of where you send it to, because it's, you know, it's got a long cooldown. I think we've kind of settled on that idea. Or we've got something that rotates around a la Aurelion Sol, either close or longer range, that you don't directly control, but it's more of a timing thing.
I think the idea of Akshan's grappling hook is fine. It's not, it doesn't blow you away in terms of, oh my god, this ability. But this thing is kind of cool. I think this can actually, because I like the idea of you having the drone buddy and you can hook into a terrain or something, and you can do something that is very minor. But if you hook into the drone buddy, then all of a sudden you have the very spy-esque escape, the very James Bond or insert any
Exactly.
other spy. And that I kind of like, because that is really cool. You can also literally drop in. Where you use a drone buddy to drop
Yes.
in. Okay. I think what you can do is where you say, if you hook onto the drone buddy, you're still targetable, because we don't want Yumi shenanigans. You're still targetable, but you can control the drone. So the drone can literally fly over terrain. Maybe the drone is, on essence, a little bit slower, but you can give it kind of speed boosts.
Well, so currently, in terms of like mechanics, so what we've got so far is that you know it's something you can deploy with the E, and then potentially have as a second cast that it could be something that will cause it to explode or something along those lines, doing something. Though it's not clear as of yet what it is. Like, I don't know if we can, because we don't know if we've got the drone buddy all the time. We could have another ability directly interact with it, but it would also need to have some function while the drone buddy was not active. If we're going to work on the assumption that drone buddy will not be always live.
No, true. That's fair. Okay, so let me think. So basically, you're kind of a river champion. So you want to be moving most of the time. Maybe something where, so you're moving, and what do you do when you get there? I think that's something that this kid doesn't have yet. So you're moving, you get there. What is your task? Do you want to perform damage? Do you want to do have some CC in there? Do you just want to speed somebody else up? Do you want to speed yourself up? I think that it currently is definitely missing from this kit. What is, besides the river aspect, besides the roaming aspect, there is something else that isn't here yet.
I mean, the W and R definitely aren't here yet. I
Yeah,
thought of an
very
extension
true.
of the grappling hook idea, that maybe it only works if you fire it to the other side of terrain, just to differentiate it from the hook shot. That it kind of limits you as to where you can use it, so you can't use it on the outside of the map at all, because you can't. Well, I don't know, but just the instance that you fire it through terrain specifically, and then it kind of pulls back and pulls you to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I can't. Something maybe you can do is I'm gonna have to use geometry here. It won't be that hard, trust me. So what if you have point A, you have point B. Point A is Kim, and then you have the drone. So if Kim fires her grappling hook at the drone will instantly yoink her away, but in the direction that she fired, because the drone it catches the hook and it wants to drag you away.
Yeah, I was thinking that it would drag you to the drone, but you were thinking of something other than that?
I think of it as in sort of
like
either
the
an
Thrash
escape.
Lantern a bit. Just
Yeah, a
cooler.
little bit like the Trash Lantern. So it's basically because I'm thinking of how can we steer the drone.
Yeah, I mean that is the big question, because it completely affects how the rest of the kit sort of
Yeah.
works.
So either it's very maneuverable, or either it's not really maneuverable, or either it's like you can only fly for a couple of seconds, or you can fly indefinite, or it's a combination where it's something in between.
These are all the questions which we've really got up in the air, where it's like, I feel like this is exactly the kind of place where having the ability to prototype is
definitely
perfect, because you could try it out and be like, does this feel bad if your drone is like dead most of the time because it's on a a relatively short lifetime, or is it a high moment that your drone is alive? I feel like my gut says I feel like a longer living drone is probably, if it's going to be sort of core to this champion's identity, you probably want the drone up a good amount of the time rather than it being an exceptional thing, just because it's not massively powerful, but it is part of the identity, and it feels like if it's not there, something's going to be missing.
You could say you can make a case where you say if the drone is destroyed, or you can summon an extra drone and you give it like a 15 or 20 second cooldown, where it's okay, it's not a big, like 15 seconds isn't that long, or 20 seconds isn't that long, but in a fight it means that you can't just drone. You can't just keep droning on. You need to actually you need to actually make sure that you use your drone tactically.
I definitely agree. I don't think it should be the kind of thing which you're just spamming constantly. That would make a lot of sense. But okay, so
okay. Well, what does this champion? So the champion is definitely roaming a lot. What does it actually want to do? What does Kim actually want to do?
So
information.
Tell us more about the. Yes. So okay. So if it's an informational thing, so the drone buddy. If we just say for the sake of argument, I think the most straightforward interpretation here is just to make the drone be something that you control, like a hawk shot that is just a deployable creature that you can alt click to move around. Like that's the we could come back and come up with a better way of doing it, but let's just say it works that way.
Yeah, okay.
So drone is controlled Tibber's style with alt click, and we don't get. And let's say the drone lasts indefinitely until it's destroyed.
Yeah, indefinitely until it's destroyed, and means of destroying it will shoehorn in there later.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it could well just be like I've never seen actually a deployable, sorry, not deployable, like a pet like this, but maybe it's got a health system like a ward, and then maybe it's like got a 2-point health bar which just like get hit twice and it explodes, so you can get hit.
I mean, like Zyra plants and Aphelios guns and stuff have something similar. There are deployables which have that system, but not pets. Which actually,
Oh hey Happy, I don't know how you didn't get a notification. I even put it out on the server.
It's weird because there are, for example, the Shaco boxes and the turrets and Heimerdinger turrets and stuff. It's weird because they have a health bar, but they also get damage reduction when it comes to one ability. But there are then abilities who can one-shot them, or there are other techs who can one-shot them. It's pretty weird. It's not clear. It's actually, I'm gonna say this, it's not really well defined within League how exactly. I for the life of me still can't figure out why sometimes I can one-tap Malzahar minions and other times I can't. When I'm more like, okay, now I know I did more damage with this ability.
It's just the daily buffs and nerfs, you know.
Well, it's
depends on when you're gaming and what time of the day.
I mean, sometimes it does feel that way because I've had moments where it's like I killed this Malzahar minion with an auto attack, and then I did a Ziggs ult on this Malzahar minion and it's still alive. Nice. So it doesn't. There's also no clear explanation in there.
I'm sure there's a lot of like thought from the design team as to what kind of experience they want to have here. So we've got a few different options. And please, everyone in the chat, feel more than free to pitch in on this, because it really changes the experience. Like, is the drone something, like, considering that it's probably going to be moving around a fair amount. So if you imagine you come across this drone, like you go into the river, you see this drone in front of you. If you're a ranged character, you kind of auto attack. Should it be killable in a single auto attack? Like, is that a thing?
I don't think
like
so.
a minion, basically, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's something where you can maybe make it more vulnerable when she's trying to really escape. So for example, when she's hanging on to it, that it has a certain vulnerability, and you can automatically say, you know, it's dragging alongside something, so it's a little bit more vulnerable.
I don't mind that idea. I have been saying that the Zyra plants can't be killed in one hit. So if we know what we don't want, so we don't want it to be killed in one hit, that's fine. Like, I'm trying to get some baselines here. So if it's not in one hit, how many hits is appropriate?
Or
Like 2?
I would say
4
I
seems
kinda...
like that's going to be quite an extended period of time for some champions.
then 3, just like, you know, like some wards.
Yeah, some words. I mean, 3 or 4 is not a bad number. It kind of depends on how we can say how fast she is, and we can say I like the idea of melees needing to do less damage to it.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's going to be a lot harder to deal with the melee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like that. Yeah, HP pool of 3 hits, 2 for melee. I mean, I don't know how you would display that exactly. Probably what it was. It'd be 3. What it is, it's a 3-bar health bar. If you hit it with a melee hit, you take up 2 bars.
Yeah, that's actually great. Yeah.
Because that way, if you've got a ranged person nearby, they can finish it off. But you can also do it. Okay, so we've got a drone that will survive first contact with people.
Yeah, and so it survives for... Does the drone actually... Is the drone purely utility, or is it something that we want to have do damage as well? And maybe with an other ability later on?
I like the idea of giving some kind of effect to it. So the first idea we had was it exploding, maybe it kind of like charging and exploding. Like doing either CC or some amount of damage or something. But I think they need something it can do apart from just float around, because I think that would be a little too tame.
So she's very much so we want to keep going with the spy thematic, right? She's very much a character that is going for information, maybe even continuously looking for the enemy jungle, or even continuously looking for where certain people are. So maybe we give her something where if she spots an enemy, or that she's rewarded by it. If she spots something that she's supposed to relay to somebody else.
Well, I can't remember what you were here for this discussion initially about. So the champion who has the most similar effect to this is Kalista.
Yeah, with the E. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's got like her little things around the place. So the difference I think here is, we're saying at the time, like, this isn't a sort of a guard sentry kind of creature, because that's what the Kalista one definitely is. Like, it has an alarm that goes off when someone comes nearby, but it's an information gathering thing. So trying to think of ways to make that sort of an obvious difference, because this is still also a somewhat similar ability to that. Oh, Happy had a thought. How about that R has some effect on the drone if it's around? I think that's an idea. Yeah, let's put it down for the R.
That's a good idea.
Okay. So affects drone as well. We'll come back and figure out what that effect is later.
I wouldn't mind the R being something of like superhero landing, where Kim just flies in and all of a sudden comes in guns blazing, where it's the finale in the spy movie, where it's okay, now we're gonna infiltrate the bad guy lair, and we're gonna go in shooting or something along those lines.
I think we had the same idea, that this is like a stealthy character who needs the high moment of being like busting into the villain's lair and like murdering everyone.
So it's mostly stealthy character except for the ultimate, and that's where you kind of break the mold.
It does sound like a lot like Samira. You are correct.
Yeah, I had a similar. Yeah, that was the thing. I was also thinking that Happy. It does sound a lot like Samira. So we need to have something that is unique to Kim.
I like the idea of the drone, like the intelligence gathering thing. Like, Vel'Koz sort of has this. In that when you get hit, when spells get hit, the drone charges. So maybe that could be a fun mechanic.
What
if it's necessary?
Okay, and this goes full KGB Russian spy.
Okay.
What if she can go behind enemy lines, and she doesn't really do damage to somebody. So, for example, she goes into the enemy jungle all stealthy and sneaky-like, and then she tries to poison somebody, meaning that the next time they're in combat, they will take extra damage, or they will have a debuff. They will have a downside from being basically infiltrated by Kim.
I mean, if we made like a kind of a mine or Teemo Mushroom style ability, that could definitely fit in with this kind of character, and that it gives you something to do, because currently the only gameplay Kim has is ganking. So we need to put something in here that gives us something else to do, or she's going to end up being kind of one note.
You can shoot darts from the drone and make the enemy more vulnerable. I liked that idea, Happy, but I was also thinking something of the lines of a sort of like a Teemo Shroom, and then it snaps. So, for example, something where you can, for example, maybe can infect a jungle camp, and when the enemy jungler takes that camp, it will kind of explode, and for the next minute or so, you will take extra damage from, I don't know, from Kim or from an enemy champion.
I think we could do both things.
Yeah.
So I think the drone shooting darts, I think that would be a really nice thing to have as a part of the super mode kind of idea. So let's put that in as that's what it does to the drone. So while super mode, someone come up with a better name, please, is active.
I don't want to say over. Okay, what's like a cool techie name for a drone?
By enemies.
Is assault from above? Is that's not a league ability, right? That sounds very leaguey.
It's very generic sounding.
It sounds a bit.
What if we just call it Guns Blazing?
Yeah, I think Guns Blazing works fine.
I think that's also from as a caster. That's a really cool ability to just say and to just remember as well. Where it's what's the ultimate? Guns Blazing. Fair enough.
Nice.
It also explains it fair enough. I mean, the idea is there. You come in guns blazing.
Yeah. Okay, so while Guns Blazing is active, the drone will shoot darts at nearby enemies, giving them a vulnerable effect. They take extra damage. I think that's fine. That sort of fits with the whole thing, because I can definitely imagine that Kim, when she smashes through the skylight, whatever, definitely the drone's got to be part of that whole experience as well, because it's like a part of the identity.
Yeah. Does she have to attach to? I think this is important to define as well. Does she have to attach to the drone? Can she still attach to the drone when it's in the guns blazing mode?
I don't know. I guess presumably she wanted to.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh yeah. Maybe the drone also gains a larger health bar while it's in.
It kind of powers up. Yeah. So definitely.
Okay. So gains additional 2 HP. During effect. So you can be more aggressive with the drone during the guns blazing. So you wanted to have the whole trap idea.
Yeah. Well, it's information, right? But the only information you can gather is vision, which is important. But is there something else this character could do? And I was thinking of like, okay, spies, obviously. The Russians Russians always had the best spies, literally throughout the Cold War, and maybe even still, you were not sure. But it's if you can like go behind, like poison enemy champion, or go when somebody is rotating, and you literally just put something on them that they don't realize instantly, but that later on is like, oh, I've been poisoned by Kim, or oh, I've been like this has been put onto me by Kim, and I kind of it either deters you from the fight.
Like a delayed Teemo Shroom, but you wouldn't know that you were poisoned until.
I'm not sure if I'm still debating internally whether or not we let the enemy player instantly know they've been poisoned. It's very cool the idea where they would not know instantly, and they would only know when it's too late. But as
That feels quite
oh,
rough
no.
as a player immediately.
Exactly. It feels very unfair because we've always tried to do stuff where you have counterplay, and when it's just, oh yeah, if you don't know, you can't really have counterplay against it. So that is something where it's maybe you're aware of it. Maybe we can say when you get poisoned, you're aware of it 10 seconds after. So where you know, okay, I've been poisoned and now I need to be careful. Now it's best for me to not go into a team fight or to not do something.
So Happy had a thought, which is something on what I was thinking of as well, which is that, like what's her face from Overwatch, sort of sabotaging health packs.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
always go in and sabotage. So like it might be the idea that you put a mushroom shroom, Teemo shroom rather, in a camp, but it doesn't explode until you actually start taking the camp.
Yeah. It can
so
be something on the lines when the camp damages you, and then.
Oh, you kind of you're. It's not a mine as such. You're kind of equipping the camp effectively.
Yeah.
With like you're putting poison on their claws or something.
Yeah,
so
and then
when they attack
it can be you get poisoned when the camp damages you, and you're aware of it when the camp dies. I think that's actually a cool mechanic.
Okay, so so Happy was saying that that maybe what it is it puts you into a state where Kim can potentially activate it to get some extra effect, but she doesn't have to.
Ooh, Happy, I like that idea that you just put in there a lot. I like it so much that we already use it on another champion this season.
Did we?
Yeah.
Completely forgot that. We've gotten slack on our write-up, so I've completely forgotten what
it was with the champion with middle cut. What was he called? Bruce the Bloke. With Bruce the Bloke, where
that
he
was straightforward.
Yeah, I think he could leave wolves behind. He could leave wolf behind that attack. Have additional attack against somebody when they go for a jungle camp.
Well, okay, yes. How about the idea that we try and sort of bung both things together? So maybe she's got a deployable mine, but if you use it, a poison mine.
Yeah.
If you use it within a certain radius of a jungle camp. So this solves the problem of how do you deal with the whole, oh, but my jungle camps are now going to be free reign for the other person jungler. If she uses her mine within a certain radius of the camp, she instead enhances that camp with extra damage and a long term, like a 30-second like debuff to a champion if they engage with that camp.
Yeah, and it could also you can also do something on the lines, and this ties into witty information. The champion immediately takes true sight for like as long as like let's say 20 seconds or something along those lines. So
Cool.
you go into the jungle, you take a camp, and then immediately you're sighted by the enemy team for like 20 seconds, because then you actually do give a lot of valuable information, and it gives them the, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't actually be here. Yeah, 20 seconds is a lot. That's fair.
Okay, well, if we just go for the basic deployable Teemo Shroom style, it's the basic version.
Yeah.
And you've got the kind of yes, so we need to think so grants true sight of the champion. I mean, it could be for a short duration. For let's say short to medium duration.
Or while in combat or something along those lines. How about 3 pulses of vision 1 second apart from each other each? That is also actually I like that idea.
Fun.
So because then if you have multiple people going there, you instantly have like a radar system that actually gives you, oh wait, there are 3 people coming bot lane, better get the hell out of there. And thanks, Kim.
I think that's a really cool idea, and I don't think anyone would have thought of that. That's a really nice idea. So okay, so choose our champion for I'm trying to think a way to describe this. 3, I guess it's just 3 times. Once after a short period, and then with short gaps afterwards.
Maybe even something, because I'm thinking of this right now as a champion that doesn't really do a lot of damage, but we want to give them maximum amount of utility. Something with wards as well. I think there needs to be an interaction where, for example, you can say, I will give this ward, kind of ties into the X-ray. I kind of looking at the chat as well with the X-ray glasses or something, which you can say, hey, this ward is almost dying, I can reset its cooldown timer and I get gold from it.
Oh, so we are definitely getting more into the, I wish I could remember her name, the Overwatch character in terms of disabling...
Sombra.
Sombra, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is, let's just call it sabotage then. We're kind of getting more into things. I love the idea of being able to sabotage a ward.
I just had an idea. She can also do the opposite with enemy wards, where it appears that they give vision, but they don't anymore.
Damn, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, that is cool. Because then it means it's not a bad thing that Kim... Because it's a champion it's very stealthy, but it's not a lot of... You're not a fighter, you're not going in there for... Maybe with the ultimate. But the rest of the kit feels weak when you're trying to fight and when you're trying to do CC, but that is something that's extraordinarily powerful, where you kind of sabotage an enemy ward.
That is such a cool idea. That's a really game-breakingly strong idea, but it's also extremely cool. So I think that would need to have a very long cooldown indeed if you used it that way. But I love her having like a general purpose toolbox sabotage ability that lets you do a whole bunch of different things.
She's a spy in there, yeah. She wants to not only get information, but deliver false information to the enemy.
Okay, so let's see. So yeah, so you can deploy it. So if it's used on open ground, it's basically a shroom. If it's used in a camp, it poisons that camp.
Yeah. I think the ward stuff, maybe you put the ward stuff on the passive. I think that's not a bad idea.
I'm thinking just the ways. I mean, I guess it kind of works either way. But I'm
Yeah,
thinking that this is like, I don't know. Like I kind of like having all the sabotage stuff in one place, just because then we don't have to like look across two different abilities. Just because this is a very powerful ability.
That's it really is. It's weird because it's an extraordinarily powerful tool, and at the same time you have dealt 0 damage to an enemy. You've not done anything to them that gives you them a debuff or even damage or slow or any form of CC, but it is still a very, very powerful thing.
Yeah, I think that's generally a super, super cool ability. I think that's definitely I say no, I think that's definitely one of my favorite parts about this character now. So we've actually got pretty much everything there then. Even though we've got no actually directly damaging abilities at all on the character, like, I don't think that's that bad. We could potentially give her some sort of on-hit passive shooting effect to give her a more direct damage thing.
I think you can say it kind of ties a little bit into the ult as well. I think for example, something you can say is where if she wants to do damage, then she jumps on the drone and lets the drone do damage for her or something along those lines. That's a little bit the ult as well, but you can say when she's grapple hooking, because the thing is with a spy, this is very interesting because literally today, this wasn't in preparation for the stream, but literally today I was watching, it's not Wired, but what's the other, I think it's the Insider YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's where they have experts watch clips and pieces from movies and then how realistic is this. I know
those.
Yeah, and I was watching them for where they were intelligence officer or people from the Secret Service. Those were the kind of videos I was watching today, and a lot of them said, well, we don't, like, you see the cool stuff, but as an intelligence officer, our job isn't really to, as a spy, our job is not really to ever fight somebody. Somebody said I was a intelligence officer for 30 years. I had some hand-to-hand training, but I couldn't hold myself in any fight really. But I still did an amazing job purely because I was so good at the information gathering.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like you're not training a boxer, are you?
No.
Spending a lot of time. Like, it's not like a James Bond thing. Hey Shinsuke, welcome to the stream. We're getting fairly close to having to design our champion here. I think I'm gonna need to go back and rewrite the sabotage thing a little bit to make it a little clearer.
Yeah.
Because I think the poison effect should be at the end.
It can
what
be
do
actually.
you think?
Of the drawing, I like it. It's a good zoom as well right now.
Also has the nice abs, just especially for you.
Jesus.
Do we have time today to get the drone buddy in somewhere?
Yes, I'll try to do that. I
the
will make it a
Vigilant
little bit like the
Scout.
Portal
Yeah, that
2
works.
kind of character, right?
Yeah.
Because I just like it.
It is a very cool play style as well, because it's something that I'm just trying to think of how do you not make this character boring. But if you're somebody who wants to be very sneaky, that is kind of, and you wanna be okay. I'm not directly in this fight right now, but I'm doing stuff behind enemy lines. I'm actually sabotaging a lot of the stuff.
I like the title Vigilant Scout. I actually don't think it's a great fit for the kind of character this is, because while she is scouting, Vigilant has kind of got sort of connotations of like honorable and stuff, whereas I don't feel like her character is that, because she's specifically trying to trick people and she's definitely scouting, but Vigilant seems too white bread. Rogue Scout. Now that's definitely in the right area.
Is okay. I don't know if maybe it's too much. And this is something I think this is the idea I'm going to explain right now. This is something that
The buddy is here.
something where if you're a Riot, you have that idea, you implement it, and you see is it necessary that it's something that Kim has or doesn't have. There have been loads of examples like this. For example, with Aatrox, where they literally took away a passive, or with Irelia, where they also just took away part of the passive, where it's like, yeah, we thought it was necessary, but it turns out it wasn't. The idea of sabotaging towers. So,
Wow.
yeah, so the idea, for example, is where you say, okay, we're gonna set up a tower dive. You need to give me some time to prepare. So it's something where you can say maybe you're in the enemy jungle, but you're not too far away from the tower, and you do something that slowly but surely, after X amount of time, you can activate again, or after X amount of time, the tower will be disabled for like 40 seconds. We already have Volibear. Leave towers alone.
I think we need. Well, I'll put it to the vote between yourselves. Is the buddy's name canonically Randall?
Randall. I think I'm not getting the reference here.
I don't think it's a reference. I think Happy just likes the name.
Ah, Randall. Okay, if you do Randall, you gotta do it street-like. You gotta do techie. The A is a 4.
That's not techie. That's leet speak. It's the least street thing in the world.
I mean, is there a way? I don't like Randall, but is there a way to make it? Because it's to make it a little bit where you put a 4 in there, or something where it's like R for Nandle or something along those lines.
I mean, what about that?
Yeah.
The
Roundle, because round.
Bruh.
Oh no, I feel like we're all falling apart in this stream. But there we go, Randall. You put an @ symbol in there, and then immediately it's Randall. No, wait, does that make sense? No, that's Rattle. Never mind. Let's put 4s in. That's the laziest way to make it a tech thing. So
also,
random.
Random. Also, there should be something where this nothing to do with the mechanics of the champion, but Randall definitely should be able to talk and have like back and forths with Kim. That is definitely something from a design perspective that needs to be in there.
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely.
Where either Randall is
He's like, can you
extraordinarily
fly
sarcastic.
fast? And he's like, do you want to do the lifting for a change?
Yes. or when she grabs on and then she gets for example, she gets knocked off the drone or something, and or the grapple times out, and then she says, "You dropped me," and the answer is,
He's like,
"Well,
go
you've
cry
been-
about it.
No. While you've been gaining weight or something like that.
Oh.
So, but
I've
he's
just
really,
put
really sassy.
Sassy robot, because
Yeah,
that's
it's really
all we
sassy.
really need to have there. Also, I thought about it. R and all.
Randroid.
That sounds like it's something else, I'm afraid. So R and then Randall.
Yeah. Randall. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just trying to be too clever for the sake of just confusing literally everybody who tries to read it. It's like, what? It's gonna be great.
Ampersand -ul. No, Rand
Uh-oh.
Al.
Happy sad and an exciting idea. We're all in
Okay.
for it. I can only assume it's going to be something much worse than has already come out
Hmm.
in the pun section. So if we mainly need to figure out what the R is. It could be a soul from the void trapped in a weird lore, but I think that's what we're kind of ending up with here, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Well, ooh, if you want to go real lore deep, so it's an AI that thinks it's an AI, but it's actually a soul that was like captured.
Ooh.
So it's actually it was a living being, and its soul, its entity, got captured, and it now thinks it's a robot, but it's not real. It's not really artificially created.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll give it a void name, Rand Al.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Happy, because you're better with the lore. I don't know if that's something you think could work, or it's, for example, you say, oh, this was a void creature. This was something that was really good at hiding and scouting, and then they just literally took its brains or its soul away from it.
Isn't that a terrifying idea? That like
It's
the idea
really-
that you wake up in something, and then
I mean, the
everything
Black Mirror
around you-
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything around you suggests that you're an artificial intelligence, but you're an actual, like, true artificial intelligence where it's like you are aware and alive, but everything around you suggests that you're an artificial intelligence and you're not a real thing. But that would be... You couldn't distinguish that from inside, could you?
I'm gonna really quickly shout out this movie because you should watch it. Tau. It is on Netflix.
I watched it. It's really good.
It's really good.
That's
I
the
think.
kind of psychological shit I'm into.
Yeah. Tau is
Because
really
like
good.
horror and jump scares, no, but that was like, wow.
And also the casting, because I realized afterwards the AI, that the Tau is the AI. It was voiced by Gary Oldman. Holy
Oh,
crap!
cool.
No,
Is
I've
that
never heard
Gary
of this,
Oldman?
ever.
Yeah, Tau. It's one of those B movie. Well, not a B movie, but it's one of those where you can see they had an idea and they went into a small production with it, but it's executed so well. I know we're going on a tangent here, but it kind of fits in. With Tau, it's Gary Oldman, the way he sold that acting performance. You never see him. You don't even realize it's Gary Oldman. I realized it when I saw it for the third time, Tau, because then that's when I recognized the voice. But he
All
had
right, we
such
gotta
an
move on,
amazing
accents.
job.
We gotta move
Okay,
on.
sorry.
Also, I just
Tau
want to get-
Netflix.
I
Watch it.
wanted to get in Happy Light Sense. Everything suggests you're an AI, but you're actually stupid. That's probably
Bruh.
the most happy thing I've heard since
That
it
is,
was
She doesn't have to call me out like that.
That's a good voice line, by the way, for Kim to say. That's
Oh
for the
yeah, I like
backup.
that. That's foreshadowing. I like
yeah,
it.
that's for yeah.
I'll put that in our voice lines repository. All right. So we still need to figure out what the guns blazing mode is, because
Yeah.
we've figured out it allows for the drone to kind of go supercharged, but what does it let Kim do?
I'd say first of all, it does damage to, if you've been you can see something on the lines, if you've been recently poisoned by was it the sabotage ability? Yeah, by sabotage,
Yeah.
you take extra damage. I think that's something that is very intuitively in there, where it's okay, you've gathered information about somebody and you've learned about their weaknesses.
Okay. I would say that, like, I don't know how many people you're going to be able to sabotage in the middle of a fight. Because if you have to
Well,
sort of
no,
set
that's
it
the
up ahead
thing.
of
A
time.
spy, you need to prepare. So you need to be prepared about the next fight. Your job isn't
Oh, so
to...
maybe
yeah.
maybe what it is you activate it just before you see someone about to get sabotaged, and then
Yeah, or you
it-
sabotage somebody who's really fat, like a carry, for example. You sabotage them beforehand, and then okay, when it comes to the fight, I can do a lot of damage, or that person will be more vulnerable.
let's say, okay, so deals damage each time. I think we actually forgot to put that in.
Mhm.
Okay, so all right, so this is guns blazing is effectively, well, no, it isn't just effectively. It is. It's kind of like a super mode ability for Kim. So
Yeah,
it's going to be the time when she's going to get to go sicko mode, with hopefully without completely throwing away everything about what makes her character.
yeah,
So she enhances the ability to sabotage. I like that because it means that you're still playing in the same play pattern,
yeah.
but you're more of a damage threat. I mean, The most straightforward thing I can think of is just knocking down the cooldowns on the grappling hook, maybe while it's active.
Ooh, what if you you up cooldowns on abilities? So if you with the ultimate as well, because then you can worry. You don't need to worry too much about doing so much damage. But you, for example, you say when you've done. When you've worked something with the drone, with the ultimate, you will increase cooldowns for enemies while you're fighting them or something along those lines. Or you will stall cooldown timers. I think that's maybe better. I think that's better, where you stall cooldown
that's harsh.
timers. Yeah.
Like, you stop someone's cooldowns from cooling down.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, she's a very
Does that,
supportive
basically
character.
kill a lot of characters if they can't use their abilities.
It for certain characters really need it. Like certain characters, it is not a bad thing to where you say, look, I will give you 4 extra seconds, or like 4, 2, 1, 10. It doesn't really, like, we don't need to go into details here, but in a fight, I will kind of sabotage you again.
Okay, well, tell you what, let's try and combine what Happy was saying, which is enhanced movement and attack damage. You can zoom around to hit more sabotage people. So it's a steroid.
Yeah.
So gain, move speed, and attack speed. And maybe what it is first attack on a target increases their cooldown by like 2 seconds or something. It increases their cooldowns by 2 seconds across the board, but it can only affect each target once across the duration of the ultimate. So you can't stop someone from casting entirely, but you can make them so they can't do it immediately.
In terms of how the drone works, what if it's something where, for example, she needs to guide the drone? So she needs to do an auto attack on somebody, and then the drone picks up on that, and then will... the first auto attack doesn't really do a lot, but it's just a regular auto attack. But then the drone picks up and realizes, I need to attack this target, and then it starts attacking that particular target.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that. So she target marks for her drone.
Target marks for drone with an auto attack or something, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. I think we can sort of bung everything in here. I suspect this would be a kit where stuff would need to be stripped out as it turned out to be.
Yeah, this is
much.
This is definitely a character where you can sit at the drawing board for as long as you like, but you need to play test this a lot. This is something where you say, as soon as you have a couple of play testers, as soon as you have some info of actual how it works in game, you can say, okay, this doesn't work, we'll remove this, or we'll translate this into something else.
Yes, I could definitely see the increasing cooldown stuff being something that they would just chuck at some point. Like, I've definitely been more doing this with champions, with giving them a lot of mechanics and then kind of dialing back on those as you go when it becomes apparent they don't actually need to have that.
I'm gonna be a little bit honest here and say something they should do a lot more. They do it in pro play, Release a champ, but they need the information out of ranked. But release a champion, and then say you cannot use it in ranked, for example, for the first month or something along those lines. And then you have so you have large, as Riot, that's something I would do. So you have a very large player database, a lot of stuff where you can test stuff out. Because I know a lot of people who are in a PBE have complained that, first of all, it's not really populated, and second of all, it's people try stuff on PBE, so it's never really a fair game.
No, I think that's fair. I just want to make sure we get this finished, though.
Yeah, sorry, no worries. Yeah.
So maybe for the guns blazing thing, that just because this sort of fits nicely into the numbers, maybe that based on the rank of the ultimate, the champion's next, rank 1 is 1, rank 2 is 2, rank 3 is 3. That many basic abilities have a longer cooldown. So if they're currently on cooldown, they'll have 2 seconds out of them. If they're not on cooldown, then they'll go on a slightly longer cooldown after she shot them.
Yeah, sure. Good idea.
Okay, so she's still very much utility for doing so, but she's she's kind of like providing a lot more active utility in the duration of her ultimate. Which I think is cool. So she still keeps her identity of being like a not direct combatant, but she's just it kind of gives her an alternate play pattern when she's in her ultimate, which is I think it's pretty cool.
I think if you want to really flesh this out, you can kind of give her sort of, for example, when she's sabotaging an enemy ward, to make it, you want to make it look like it's still functional when it's really not, or something along those lines. You can make her where she needs to hack it, and you put a sort of mini game in there where you need to do AZER, for example, in a certain, it comes up in a random sequence, and you need to be in time. And the faster you do the sequence, or the better you are doing the sequence, the faster you're hacking. It's something we're not gonna. It's something we're not gonna do now. It's something we're not gonna do now. But it also gives the champion something to do. It gives the player something to do, which I think will be important for this character.
Yeah, I get what you mean in that channeled abilities are actually kind of boring because you don't do anything.
You don't do anything. So you need to, and there needs to be, if you're really good at hacking, aka whatever you're good at the QTEs, then it rewards you when you're good at the QTEs.
I don't mind the idea. I don't know if a QTE is necessarily the way to go, but
No,
I would definitely be up for seeing what it would be like to have a channeled ability that you can, like a golf game. I think that's always the go-to. Like they have always got the idea that the golf is not inherently terribly fun to play, just kind of like whacking stuff and be like, yep. So you've got the whole sort of swinging meter kind of mechanic going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got a small, simple skill game, which means you're engaged while you're doing something that would otherwise be very, straightforward of being, I'm just channeling. I think you could balance the I love the sabotaging enemy wards to make it sort of. That's so on point for this kind of character to have a CCTV camera that's on looped footage.
Yeah, it is, and it's so weird because I think this is the first ever we've done similar stuff, but this is the first ever thing where you can say it is one of the more powerful things in League, but it doesn't do anything to enemy champions. It literally has no effect on them.
Yeah, I really like this, and I also love the art as well.
I like the neon. I think the neon is really cool.
Yes, I think this works really well. She can definitely be an honorary KDA member.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait, what is the passive?
Kim DA?
Oh, River. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I think we call it passive protection money, just because
Protection money, yeah.
Because that's much more compelling than River.
Or gun for hire is also something you can say, or something along those lines.
Yeah, gun for hire works too.
Protection money is fine as
that's
well.
her.
Cool. All right, let's get up a full screen version. Can we get that a little zoomed out? Because I think we can't quite see all of it there, but I want to get it up on screen so we can enjoy the full glory. Let's bring the bottom down a bit as well. There we go. There we go. Kim, the Rogue Scout, doesn't CS, is a full-on River champion, which was the suggestion of Roger specifically, who not only came up with the course concept, but also drew this while we were nattering the whole way through. What do you guys think?
I'm running hot right now. That's what I'm thinking. Like, because I was trying, because still I have not done any little icons for the abilities, but at least I got the name on it and stuff like that.
You drew a second character as well very quickly.
Yeah, fair.
Like, if you know the little buddy from Portal 2, right? The one.
Yeah.
Zazzy counts. I tried to be inspired from him, but then the fact that he's like, he can like be flying, because he's still a drone. I gave him like the little thing. He's like from Avengers, the planes that they have, like with the aircraft, with the, I don't know what's it called.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it looks like little wings, which is, I guess, the idea.
Air hovering shit like that,
I think it works really, really well. Yeah, so she's gonna be going around, grappling around the place. The sabotage, I think, is such a good ability, and there's so much potential there. I would be shocked if there wasn't something like this on Riot's kind of design documents somewhere.
It might be something where they said that. I wouldn't be surprised if they have tried it out internally and went with the option of, we're not gonna do this, because it's either something, because it's something that doesn't really have counterplay, but you can just also put a second ward down, and then it has counterplay. So it might also just be that it's not as strong as we think it might be, where it's oh yeah, we tried this, but there is actually even though it feels really powerful, it's actually not that strong as we think.
I would consider this much more of an exploration of thematic
Yeah,
than it is
definitely.
necessarily a champion who's balanced out of the gate remotely.
Definitely.
It's trying to get into these ideas and think, how can we make a secret agent counter character who feels like a secret agent, and then kind of backtrack to be like, how can we make this actually fun? But I
Roger,
think
you know
we've-
what I'm really
Yep.
surprised at? You have not, Roger, you have not given her any piercings. I think that's been a
That's
while.
true. How
I would say-
outrageous.
I would say in this case, especially the way she's standing and the pose she's taking, give her some ear piercings. I think that is something.
Definitely. Oh my god, how have I? Shame on me.
Thank you for pointing that out, Axis. We could have exited without that.
I just saw her. I just saw the face, and I was like, "This seems very much like a character that would have like 3 ear piercings."
Or
I
or
think that
more.
pretty much takes us to an end here, though. We've got
Yeah.
a kit. We've got a very nice piece of art to go along with it. I guess, Exodus, starting with you, is there anything you'd like to shout out? We will, of course, be back next week at the same time. So, at, let's see, so at 1800 CET, we're back. We've run pretty long on this episode, actually. But, so we're back here next week, same time, same place. Thank you to the people who've been joining our Discord recently. Really appreciate it. Exodus, is there anything you'd like to shout out for this
I'm
coming week?
I'm still on the job hunt. I'm still looking for a job. I'm a really good project manager, really good event manager. I'm also really good at content creation. So please hire me, please. I'm I'm looking
guy.
for a job.
All right, Roger, how about you?
I'm proud of my artwork. That's all
You
I want to
should
say
be.
now. So
Should be. You really should be.
she looks pretty cool. Like that's it. That's it.
I mean,
Also,
Roger,
look at my Instagram. I had a Kali KDA photo shoot last weekend. There will be pictures dropping soon, and these two can confirm they're dope as fuck.
They
They're
are.
pretty dope. They are really dope. Yeah.
All right, from my side of things, I think it's going to be announced soon, so I don't think I'm able to announce it yet, but I'll have a cool event coming up very soon, which I'll be retweeting on my Twitter, so in the TFT space, so keep your eye peeled for that if you're interested in TFT stuff. I've not got a TFT tournament for a couple of weeks' time. I can't think of too much else event-wise that's coming up, so I guess we'll call it. If Happy Light Sense, if there's anything which you'd like to shout out, you've been helping a ton, or anyone else in the chat, do let us know. Otherwise, we've got to figure out where we're going to raid. Where should we go?
Let me see.
I
Who
got
ca-
no one.
I've actually got no one either. That's not really anybody who
Wait,
is.
I know exactly the person which we're going to take. I haven't seen them streaming for a while, but they are another caster who definitely doesn't get as much attention as they need, and I'm sure everyone here would love them. Celtic Tiger. Celtic Tiger? Hold on,
Oh
Siri.
yeah. Give him some love. Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Tiger is one of the best people I know. So, oh, no, that's not
Definitely.
working.
CT.
Let's try doing it in my Twitch chat through here, and hopefully it'll actually work. That's right, sorry. I'm using Restream. We're going out to a few different platforms at the same time. So, there we go. Oh, we're ready to view, we're ready to raid. So go, please do enjoy Tigers. What they stream right now? I don't know. Oh, Hades. There we go. Hades is awesome. Let's go check it out.